Our gospel lesson this morning comes from the 10th chapter of John, beginning at the 22nd verse. This passage comes from this chapter that is all about the Good Shepherd. And this is one portion of the description of Jesus as the Good Shepherd by the gospel writer John. At that time, the festival of the dedication took place in Jerusalem. It was winter, and Jesus was walking in the temple in the portico of Solomon. So the Jews gathered around him and said to him, "How long will you keep us in suspense? If you are the Messiah, tell us plainly." Jesus answered, "I have told you, and you do not believe. The works that I do in my Father's name testify to me. But you do not believe because you do not belong to my sheep. My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and they will never perish. No one will snatch them out of my hand. What my Father has given me is greater than all else, and no one can snatch it out of the Father's hand. The Father and I are one." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Today is the fourth Sunday of Easter, and on the liturgical calendar, the fourth Sunday of Easter is always Good Shepherd Sunday. We always read a portion from the 10th chapter of John. But on this particular fourth Sunday of Easter, let's begin with the obvious. Today is Mother's Day. And it's a day of profound emotions. For those surrounded by children and grandchildren, for those whose mother is still very much part of their lives, it is a day of joy. For those who have lost children, those never blessed with children, it can reinforce loneliness. For those who mourn the death, the absence of their mothers, it calls forth grief. For those who were adopted or fostered or abandoned, it creates questions. Yes, it's a day of profound emotions, a day never intended to be a Hallmark day, and really never intended to be a high holy day on the liturgical calendar. So I did some research, and this day has somber roots. It was founded for mourning women, to remember fallen soldiers and to work for peace. According to historian Catherine Antolini, it started in the 1850s when West Virginia women's organizer Anne Reeves Jarvis held Mother's Day work clubs to improve sanitary conditions in order to lower infant mortality by fighting disease and curbing milk contamination. These mothers' work groups also tended wounded soldiers for both sides during the U.S. Civil War from 1861 to 1865. In the years after the war, Jarvis and other women organized mothers' Friendship Day picnics and pacifist strategies to unite former foes. Julia Ward Howe, who composed the Battle Hymn of the Republic, issued a widely read Mother's Day proclamation in 1870. She called for women to take an active political role in promoting peace. When Anne Jarvis's daughter Anna organized the first traditional Mother's Day observance on May 10th, 1908, she had no desire for a commercial phenomenon. She wanted a simple thank you, a thank you for those women in our lives who could be judged to be faithful, particularly for those women who are and have been human shepherds to us. Women whose voices we know and who know our voices. Women who work tirelessly to encourage and maintain peace in family and community. Mother's Day, a day of profound emotions, a day to celebrate all who are judged to be faithful, all those who shepherd us in promoting peace in community and in our world. Take Lydia. Lydia from our story in Acts, a dealer in purple cloth, a businesswoman. It says she's from a household, but there's no mention of a husband or children. But she's clearly a leader in her community of Philippi. Lydia is the one who gathered the women by the river for prayer. Lydia provided hospitality and nourishment. The first church established in the district of Macedonia was founded by Lydia and her sister disciples. And I find that fascinating because in those verses preceding today's story, the person Paul heard in his dream was a man saying, "We need help here in Macedonia." So Paul's letter to the Philippians is written to a church started by women, women judged to be faithful, women who were shepherds to their community, women who knew their community's voices. Philippians is the most loving and gentle of Paul's writings. If you've read all of his letters, you know that. From his first visit with those women praying by the river, Paul was thankful for their partnership in the gospel and was confident that Christ would sustain them always in their sharing of the good news of Christ's love. Lydia, shepherd of her community, judged to be faithful. It is so appropriate that we remember and celebrate her this day. On this day of profound emotions, I also remember and give thanks for so many women who touched my life with their love of Jesus, their commitment to peace, their gentle shepherding, and their visible faithfulness. I remember my grandmother who died at age 36, long before I was born. She died of pneumonia, but planted her love for the church deep in the hearts of my mother and my uncles. And then I remember my mother on this day, who carried on that love for the church and who transmitted it deep into my own heart and soul. I remember my step-grandmother, a faithful Southern Baptist, never able to serve on a governing board in her church because of her gender, who would often say to me, "You know, those deacons don't know what trouble this church would be in if we widows didn't tithe." I remember Sunday school teachers and youth group advisors and choir directors and camp counselors and college and seminary professors and field education mentors who faithfully nurtured me to where I am today. And in the aftermath of this week's leaked judicial documents, I give thanks today for those who shepherd unwed mothers, those who nurture single moms, foster the unwanted and mistreated, and all who offer the gift of adoption to those desperately yearning to belong. And today I look out at this congregation and I envision those who are joining us virtually, and I see faithful shepherds. I celebrate the lives of those who were among us and are now among the saints. I see those who over the years, still today, ask the difficult questions and encourage the difficult decisions. I see those who teach and cook and sing and volunteer in the office and serve as deacons and elders and team members and do workday work and all kinds of faithful shepherding. And I see so many of you who simply say yes whenever you are asked. I see among you and within you, as Paul wrote to the Philippians, an amazing partnership in the gospel, a partnership that promotes and encourages peace in this church, in our community, and in our world. On this day of profound emotions, Who is it that you remember? Who are the women in your life who know or knew your voice? Who are the women in your life who are judged to be faithful? For whom are you giving thanks this day? Who is it who has shown to you what it means to be a shepherd of the work of the gospel of Jesus Christ? On this day when we remember all who have been judged to be faithful, this day when we give thanks for those who have been shepherds to us and to others, hear additional words from Paul's letter to the Philippians. I am confident of this, that the one who began a good work among you will bring it to completion by the day of Jesus Christ. Judged to be faithful, called to be shepherds. May it be so. Thanks be to God.